Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st.
Oh,
Did I arrive in Guatemala?
yes. I
Yes,
arrived
I
in
arrived
Guatemala on
in
the Day of the Dead,
Guatemala.
November 1st.
Where did I arrive?
I arrived in Guatemala
I arrived
on the
in
Day of the Dead.
Guatemala. I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. Who arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead?
It was me. I arrived in
AJ.
Guatemala on the Day of the Dead,
I arrived
November
in Guatemala
1st.
on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. Did I arrive in Guatemala on November 3rd?
No, it was not.
No, I
First,
didn't arrive
but not
in Guatemala
first.
on November
I
3rd.
arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. First.
What day did I arrive in Guatemala?
On the Day of the Dead, November
November
1st.
1st. I arrived
I
in
arrived in
Guatemala.
Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st.
Where did I arrive on November 1st?
I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the
I
Dead.
arrived in Guatemala on November 1st. I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead,
Yes.
November 1st. I was curious about this holiday,
Oh.
so I went to the cemetery
Yes.
to see what was happening. Was I angry about this holiday?
No, I was not angry.
No, I wasn't angry about
I-
this holiday.
I feel so
Was
curious
I
about this
sad
holiday.
about this holiday?
No, I was not sad.
No, I
I'm
wasn't
curious
sad
about this holiday. I was curious.
about this holiday. Who was curious about this holiday?
It would disgust me.
I was, AJ. I was
I
curious
was curious about this holiday.
holiday. What was I curious about?
I was curious about the holiday. The
I
Day of
was
the Dead
curious
holiday.
about the holiday.
Holiday.
Which
Holiday.
holiday was I curious about?
The Day of the Dead.
Which
I
holiday
was
I
curious about this
about?
holiday. And it
The
and
Day
its
of
name
the Dead.
is the Day of the
I was
Dead.
curious about the Day of the Dead. Was I curious about the Day of the Dead?
Yes.
Or was I curious about Christmas?
I was curious about the Day of the
I
Dead.
was curious about the Day of the Dead, of course. I was curious about the Day of the Dead. So I went to the cemetery to see what was happening.
Ah.
Where did I go?
I went to the cemeteries to see what's happening.
Cemetery. Did I go to the cemetery?
Yes.
Or did I go to the airport?
Yes. I went to the cemeteries and
I
I
went
didn't
to
go to
the
the
cemetery.
airport.
Who went to the cemetery?
It was me. I went to the cemeteries.
I went to the cemetery. Where did I go?
Yes, I went to the
To the
cemeteries.
cemetery, right. I went to the cemetery. When did I go to the cemetery?
On the Day of the Dead, November 1st.
November 1st, the Day of the Dead.
Yes.
I went to the cemetery
On the Day of the
on
Dead,
the Day of the Dead.
November 1st.
November 1st. Why did I go to the cemetery?
Yes, I went to the cemetery to see what's happening
what
in
was
there.
happening. I went to the cemetery to see what was happening?
What was happening?
Who went to the cemetery to see what was happening?
It was me. I went to the cemetery to see what's happening.
To the cemetery.
To see what was happening.
Where was the cemetery?
The cemetery was in Guatemala.
The cemetery
Yes,
was
in Guatemala.
Guatemala. What is the Day of the Dead?
Yes, it was a holiday and
holiday.
it was
The
on
Day
the
of
day
the
of the.
Dead
It
is
was
a
on
holiday.
November 1st.
When is the Day of the Dead?
Yes, and it was on November 1st.
The Day of the Dead was and is November 1st. So I went to the cemetery on the Day of the Dead to see what was happening. What I found
Yes,
was quite interesting.
yes.
Was it boring?
No, it
No,
was
no,
not
it
boring.
wasn't boring.
It was quite interesting.
Was it interesting?
Yes, it was very interesting.
It was interesting. The cemetery was interesting. How did I feel
Yes,
about the cemetery?
I felt the cemetery was quite interesting.
I felt it was
I felt,
interesting. Or I thought it was interesting. Was it boring or was it interesting?
Yes, it was interesting. It was not boring.
Interesting. Of course, it was interesting. What was interesting?
The cemetery was
The
quite
cemetery
interesting.
was interesting. When was the cemetery interesting?
Yes, on the Day of the Dead, November
It was
1st.
interesting on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. Okay, the atmosphere in the cemetery was like a party.
Yes,
Was the atmosphere very sad?
no, it was not sad.
No,
It
the atmosphere
was like a
not
party.
sad. The atmosphere was
Was
like
like
a
a
party.
party.
The atmosphere was very happy. Was the atmosphere sad or happy?
Yes, the atmosphere in the
happy.
cemetery was
The
happy.
atmosphere was like a party.
Yes, it was like a party.
What was like a party?
The atmosphere in cemeteries
The
was like a
atmosphere
party.
in the cemetery was like a party. Where was the atmosphere like a party?
Yes, in the cemeteries, the atmosphere in the cemeteries
The cemetery.
was
The
like a
atmosphere
party.
Was like a party in the cemetery. Was the atmosphere like a party at my house?
No,
No, not at my house.
Yes,
The
not
atmosphere was like a
was
party
in my house.
in the cemetery. The atmosphere was not like a party in my house. So the atmosphere was like a party. There were people everywhere. Families were sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors.
Oh,
Where were the families sitting?
yes, the families were sitting around the grave of their dead
They were
ancestors.
sitting around the graves.
Graves.
Who was sitting around the graves?
Yes, they were
The families.
the families.
The families.
The families
sitting
were sitting around the grave of their dead ancestors.
Were they sitting around the trees?
No, they were not
No,
sitting
they
around
weren't
the
sitting
trees.
around the tree.
They were sitting around
They
the
were
grave
sitting
of
around
their
the
dead
graves.
ancestors.
So, where were they sitting?
Around the graves.
Around the graves. Families were sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors.
Ancestors.
Were they sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors?
Yes, they were sitting around the grave
They were
of their
sitting
dead
around
ancestors.
the graves of their dead ancestors. Were
Their,
they sitting around the graves of their friends?
no, it's not their graves.
Not really.
Their friends.
They were sitting around
They
the
were
graves
sitting
of
around
their
the
dead
grave of their dead
ancestors.
ancestors.
Who was sitting around the graves?
Yes, the families.
That's right. Families were sitting around the graves.
Yeah.
Whose graves
Whose?
were they sitting around?
Yes, it was
Graves were they
It
sitting
is-
around?
it was their dead ancestor
Their
graves.
dead ancestors. Their ancestors. Their ancestors' graves. They were sitting around.
They were sitting
the graves
around
of their
their dead ancestor graves.
Were they sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors?
Yes, they
Or
were.
the graves of their friends?
No, they were sitting around
Ancestors, right? They were sitting
around
around
the grave of their dead ancestors.
ancestors. They cleaned the graves
Yes,
and added fresh flowers.
yes,
Who cleaned the graves?
yes. The families.
The families.
The families clean the
What
graves.
did they add?
They add fresh flour.
Added
They add
fresh flowers.
fresh flowers.
Did they add food?
No, they didn't add food.
No.
They-
didn't add.
They add fresh flowers.
Did they add
Fresh.
money?
No, it was not money.
No, they didn't add
It was
money.
fresh
They
flowers.
added fresh flowers. What did they clean?
Yes, they clean the grave.
Cleaned the graves. Whose graves did they clean?
Yes, they clean the grave of their dead ancestors.
They cleaned their ancestors' graves.
Yes.
Where did they add flowers?
Yes, they add flowers
They added
on
flowers
their
to the graves.
on their grave of their dead
They
ancestors.
cleaned the graves and added fresh flowers.
Yeah.
Good. I walked through the cemetery
Yes.
and admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers.
Oh.
Where did I walk?
Yes, I walk through the cemeteries.
The cemetery. I walked through
Through
the cemetery.
cemeteries.
Did I walk through the park?
No, I didn't walk through
No,
the
I
park.
didn't walk
I
through the park.
walked through
I
the
walked
cemeteries.
Through the cemetery. Where did I walk?
I walked
Through
through
the
the
cemetery.
cemeteries.
Who walked through the cemetery?
It's for me. I walked
did.
through the
AJ.
cemeteries.
I walked